Pugh. That'll do it! That will do it! Pugh for Bournemouth! The roof of the Gold Sands is raised! Everyone here knows what that could mean to this football.
Well, good afternoon, Cherries. And I hope you're doing well. Well, I hope you're doing well. Bournemouth have got knocked out of the playoffs at the hands of Brentford, who played well. And based on their league position, let's be fair, they probably deserved it, didn't they? Bournemouth, we had a great start through Dan Juma, but then questionable errors, refereeing decisions, and then decisions on the pitch led to Brentford going 2-1 up, and then they made it 3-1. Not too great. As you can see, I'm here with Mr. Tigsy. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Hello, all at home. Yeah, not the greatest of games, but lots to unpick. What an up and down roller coaster that we've got, and we're looking forward to all getting involved today. So please make sure you do take part.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky one today. And if you do want to take part, the address is the same as usual, afcbpodcast.com/take part. We'll get as many messages on screen as we possibly can, including any super chats if you want to help support the channel as well. It's going to be some group therapy. We expect the usual idiots in chat. That's what happens. I'm sure that people from Watford are very pleased, and they're going to be the first to be thinking of us at this point in time. However, Tiggs, we didn't deserve it, especially based on that second half performance where you've got to say we showed no attacking threat at all. And look, I know we were down to 10 men, but they were at our place. And, you know, they showed us how to play a game with 10 men.
It felt to me like a real lack of action, Sam, really. I mean, I think you think about what you do when things aren't going well for you in a game, you make changes. And for me, it didn't feel like that we made the changes that were necessary to give us a chance to get back in when things went bad. That said, it all started well, and it gave me a lot of hope, as I know it did you. And it does feel a little bit unfair that we conceded a penalty that wasn't a penalty. Love to know what you all think about that.
Yeah. But
that sending off, Sam, that's not enamoured Chris Mepham to fans, has it?
No, and you know what? Like, they're calling it Agent Mepham, and he went in, and I mean, it was, you know, just let him go through. Just let him go through. But it's one of those situations, we've all been in it. If you play football, you make these little decisions in your head, and you know, you live to regret it. He did, you know, deservedly go. And look, Bournemouth are going to be spending another season in the Championship. It's look, it's a great league. It's a great league. We all know it is. We absolutely detest VAR. We detest getting thumped at Man City. It does bring the prestige of being on Match of the Day and all that kind of stuff, but that's about it. What it does do, though, it gives us a hell of a lot of money to build a legacy that. Will it happen now? What's going to happen to AFC Bournemouth? That's probably the last time we've seen Dan Juma play in a Bournemouth shirt. Lerma, David Brooks, you can name 1,000,001 players that might not be here. And it's such a shame. But look, it's going to be an interesting hour. And first person we're going to bring on at this point in time is John Spark, who's with us. John, how are you, fella?
Yeah, obviously I'm devastated. But to be honest, from the Mepham sending off onwards, it was all about, would we, you know, just manage to hold on? And unfortunately, it didn't. The game turned on, you know, 3 decisions, really, I feel. The penalty, the first one, which I think, if you're the defending team, obviously you don't want. And I think any player that's played the game, you know, will look at that and go, where else is he meant to put his hands, kind of thing. But, you know, most neutrals, most people that have watched the game enough and know what's happened to the handball rule will probably say that it was a penalty. So it's one of those that could have gone either way, and unfortunately didn't for us today. Mepham's mistake, which unfortunately is just one of those things you can't litigate for, and you know that will haunt him, unfortunately, or certainly haunt, you know, the fans' opinion of him for a while, unfortunately. And then the third one, I think, was the substitution for Stacey coming on for Solanke. I thought the game would turn on that, but that was either going to be the winning move or the losing move, because if Billing did something up front and we scored, it would be the winning move. But if Billing wasn't going to do his job defensively and we lost out that way, it was a losing move. And it turned out to be the losing one, because I guarantee you, if Stacey was a right mid, that cross for the third goal doesn't come in, or at least it gets blocked. but Billing had just gone up for an attack, and he was jogging back. He's too late to get into position, and then the ball gets crossed in, and it's a good finish. The other obviously massive bit of luck is their second goal, because their player manages to tackle the ball into the back of the net. So it's a real shame. But that's all you can really look at it as, because I looking through some of the comments already, I do not like this kind of absolute detestable attitude from a lot of people on here. Like, yeah, obviously we're all disappointed, we're all devastated, but let's not just toxic this complete community out of any kind of feeling as to how well some of the players did this season. And yes, a lot of players underperformed, but you've got to look specifically at this match. A number of things went against us, and I think that, one massive slice of luck, a couple of other slices of bad luck. Look, there's a lot that could have changed, but it's a shame. It's a real shame. And now, looking to the future, who's going to be the manager? How many players are going to get sold? What's going to happen with the squad? There's no way we're going up in any time soon, as far as I'm concerned. We're going to lose Danjuma, we're going to lose Brooks. Arguably could lose Billing based on his form this season. Got to make sure we get Cameron Carter-Vickers. Adam Smith is going to be out of contract, I think. You've got Begovic that's going to leak out of contract. There's so much upheaval that's going to happen now. We'll get a good chunk of money in, I would think, because Brooks and Danjuma should get, sizable fees.
Yeah.
But I honestly want that to be. I really do want that to go towards completing the training ground. The money that we get in has to get put towards completing the training ground and making sure that we have a squad of youngsters coming through, and obviously buying well from League One, League Two, to make sure we've got a squad that can compete for mid-table next season. And we have at least the training ground, and then we can build up from there, get a strong base of squad of young players to bring through. Because I can't look in the future and say that really we're going to have about half of the squad that started that game. So there's going to be a massive, massive season of development that needs to go on next year, and I'm looking forward to that change. It's going to be nice to it's the last shreds of the great team that we had going back in. Steve Cook and Adam Smith are still around, and one of those is going. It's going to be Cook, and that's it. And it's time to bring through the new team, and it's going to be a difficult summer. We can get distracted by the Euros, but it's going to be a difficult time for the club, and fingers crossed we pull through and just at least stay safe in the Championship for the next season or two.
Yeah, so we've got Kirk and Steve here as well. After this, we're going to be bringing in Eddie, we've got Daniel, we've got Dylan, and we've got Robert from Latvia in as well. But Kirk and Steve are here, and I mean that says it all. Kirk, you look as though you're about to lay into players, and Steve, you're just looking resigned and redundant. How are you both feeling today?
Our just raw feeling goes straight into the match. Chris Mepham, a player I've never fully thought is good enough to play at the top level. He has the odd good game in him, and I've always praised him when he's come on and done well, like I did on Monday. But he had three choices in the scenario he was in, and I'd hope to think that Woodgate said to him before they went out, do nothing stupid, just keep it simple and don't put us under pressure. All he had to do was move 5 yards towards that ball and put it in the corner, or put his foot through it. So he had three options: go towards it, clear it, go towards it, clear it, He took the other option. When he decided to drop off 5 yards, then look at Tony, so he knew he was there, and then he still decided to take an age on it to try and go back to Begovic. So that's the first error. That means that we're up against it and we're down to 10 men. The second goal is Rico not trying to deal with the second ball after Lloyd Kelly intercepted. And obviously they got a bit of luck with the strike. And then the third goal was Billing, because we were carrying Billing with 10 men for about 20 minutes. We should have had Wilshere on that pitch, because we had to keep the ball. With 10 men, we had to try and have an outlet and someone who could hold the ball. Billing's been brilliant this year in that number 10 role, but that changed when we went down to 10 men. And for me, if Billing wasn't on the pitch then potentially, and we had someone else in that position, they win the second ball when Smith wins the header and that cross doesn't come in. So doesn't mean we still would have won, doesn't mean we still wouldn't have lost the tie, but three errors cost us this tie. And Woodgate, for me, I've always stood it. I've always said he's done well at times. Didn't really want him as a manager, even if we went up, and there's reasons for that. Don't think he's the right manager now. In that game, poor decisions to bring on certain people, and I think it didn't help us. And Sam Surridge was sitting on the bench and we brought on Shane Long, but yeah, there we go.
Let's talk a little bit about those substitutions. The one for me, I think, that was the oddest was when Mepham went off. It sort of made things very difficult for us, changed the shape of it. Who do you think would have been a better option to bring on there? Or bring on?
That's exactly the change I would have made. There is zero changes you can make other than the one he made. As far as I'm concerned, when you lose your centre back and there are no other fit centre backs other than the one you've got playing at left back in Kelly, you have to shift him in and put Rico on. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what else we could have done in that situation. It's the first thing I would have done personally, but I mean, because apart from that, I don't think we had any defenders on the bench unless we had Zamora on. But even then, Rico is the first choice, is a choice above him as well. But what would you have done, Tiggs, instead to try and make sure we filled that hole at centre back?
Well, I think the player coming on, no objection to that. But the player coming off, perhaps Brooks for me was in that game and doing well. Whereas I think, as Kirk has already alluded to, later on in the game, I felt that we were kind of carrying Billing. Maybe it'd been better to have taken Billing off and kept Brooks on the pitch.
Okay, no, I totally get where you're coming from now. Yeah, when the change was made, I thought he made the right call because I thought he would play in a 4-3-2 in the same way that we played in a 5-3-2 at the end of the first leg, to have Solanke and Danjuma up front as your outlet, and then you have Billing, Pearson, and Lerma as the screen of a 3. And rely on Adam Smith and Diego Rico doing their jobs out wide. But and I think that's what we started with at the end of the first half. But then in the second half we shifted to the 4-4-1 with Danjuma up by himself, Billing on the right and Solanke on the left. And yeah, after about 10-15 minutes of the second half, I'm thinking, nah, sorry, what is taking you so long to get Stacey on for Billing? You need him there. And then in the end, he takes off Solanke, which I just didn't understand, and that was the decision that led to the third goal.
I've got to ask Steve as well, because Steve's there next to you, Kurt. How did you feel, Steve, when you saw Rico coming on? Do you think that was the decision you'd make?
Well, like John said, we didn't really have a lot of option, did we? It was the only natural decision to make, to shift Kelly across and put Rico out on the left. What was strange for me, and I said this on Kirk's channel yesterday, was that we needed to approach this game the same way we approached the last game, but we also needed to make sure we were calm, collected, and not do anything silly. And we just failed at that. We failed at that big time all around the pitch. And I include Woodgate in this with some of his decisions and where he was playing players towards the end of that game. The fact that you had Solanke on the left and you had Billing on the right, it's round, square pegs and round holes. We had better options. You could have had Stacey in front of Smith, which would have made us still defensively solid somewhat, with missing a player. But it still gives you that attacking option as well. He's, get forward. Why Solanke's hold-up play is better than Danjuma's, I don't understand that. Whether he was looking for that ball in behind, but it never came really. We didn't have an outlet really. It just was mistakes all game. Decision making mistakes.
Yeah. No, agreed with what you're saying. Neil Whedon standing by. We got Morgan, David, Robert from Latvia, Dylan, Filippo, you're all there. The room's filling up very quickly. In fact, we've just had another one in, but Eddie's been here for quite a while, so we're going to bring Eddie in now. Eddie, buddy, how you doing?
Hey, guys. Gutted. What an emotional roller coaster that was.
I mean, the perfect start from us, The perfect start. I was elated. I was jumping about. We even videoed our reactions. I'm going to have to put that video out. It's not going to be good based on the full-time result. But you know what? It was great. And then the little decisions that we made, that the ref made throughout the game. But, let's be fair. Brentford did deserve it. Their league position shows that they deserved it as well, Eddie.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's just hard with an isolated game like that. That kind of form, the season that's been, kind of just goes out the window, right? And I just can't get over the Mepham decision. That's such a. I'm still so disappointed. It was he had, two options. He could either gone back to the keeper, or even to the right. I think it was the right back. I think Smith was there.
Yeah.
And he just took an age, didn't he? Oh man! I mean, the penalty. Yes, that's like a pretty awful decision, but you can kind of whatever. But that you can kind of control that, right? You just this basic stuff. A Sunday league decision that was hard to forgive him for that, to be honest.
Do you think the fans there played a part in that, Eddie, getting that penalty?
Oh, well, I said to a few of my friends that he was looking around, the referee. He wasn't going to point to the spot. He's just seeing the reaction, and it's kind of, unreal. Like, you know, that level of referee should not be making a decision like that. You know, they're professional referees. It's just like, mental.
Yeah, it's bizarre though, because earlier in the game I was praising the ref because obviously this is the ref we had at Coventry away. This is the ref that had a sequence that was mic'd up by the A-League when he was in that, and he was highly praised for talking his way through the game with the opposition players. And you know, I thought it would be a really good appointment for us in terms of the referee, but when you see things like that, then you question it. But you know, let's be fair, even aside from that, you know, we did completely deserve it. And Kirk, you know, Brentford, they are deservedly going through, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they're third. They're the highest goal scorers. We know they've got goals in their team. I said that, you know, I always felt they were going to score in the tie. I was hoping we could get away with a 1-1. I just can't believe we had more individual errors in us. I thought we had rid them. We were talking about the free-for-all before the fixture. And I thought that if we lose to a team that just opens us up and beats us fair and square. But, you know, to shoot ourselves in the foot again 3 times today that contributed towards that loss is highly frustrating. Do you know what's quite funny about the situation, Tiggs and Sam? We're obviously going to be lots to discuss in pre-season and who's maybe going to be manager, what squad we have come August, September. Funnily enough, Chris Meckham will probably be one of our main centre-backs come August, September. So a situation that he'll be looking at, devastated. Everyone will be frustrated with him because we've seen it time and time again, and he keeps doing it. But we could be in a position where he's our main centre-back come August, September.
Yeah, very interesting. And you know what? It was going to be an exciting kind of season, you know, close season, John, wasn't it? Regardless of what happens, because if we were going to be in the Premier League, obviously, hopefully, we'll be making, you know, lots of new signings and all that kind of stuff. But now we're wondering who's going to go. Will we sign many players? Who's going to be our manager? What's the plan? What the board going to say? There's a lot to discuss.
Yeah, I suppose the main thing that I would want the board to make sure they focus on is appointing the right manager going forward. They specifically gave Woodgate 6 months for this kind of eventuality, because they could make a decision regardless whether they wanted to keep him or not. And now I would hope they don't. It's like, I don't have much against Woodgate. And in this particular match, I feel as though he only made one significant error in terms of the substitution that I've mentioned before. Other than that, you know, the players have to make sure they do their thing on the pitch, and there's no doubt that the fans will have helped Brentford to start the game and make sure they put us on the back foot from the off. And so the manager is a really important thing to go forward. And then, like you said, I mentioned before, you're probably looking at Brooks, Danjuma, Lerma as the first 3 that should get us quite a chunk of money. But then Begovic is out of contract. I think Adam Smith is out of contract. Cameron Carter-Vickers is I really hope we bring in, but with his performances, a team in the Premier League should really be looking at him at lower end, and a number of others. It's like probably half the squad is going to go. So you've now got to look at, you know, making sure the manager's in first, that the manager plays the kind of football that we want. There's no point in just appointing, you know, Tony Pulis or whoever just because he's available. Yeah. You need to go for the right manager. You need to look at a model look at Brentford's model, look at Watford's model, make sure they're actually planning ahead on what kind of manager they can bring in that really can make the most of your players. Once you have the manager, and assuming we still have Richard Hughes, because that's still up in the air, you have the system to then push and decide that we can build and bring in the players that fit the system. Going to need a good chunk of loan players from the Premier League, I think. And then I think we need to make sure we focus on League One, some good players from the bottom end of the Championship that we can take and push forward. Huge close postseason of upheaval. And, just as a final comment, I saw someone posting in the comments, is like, someone said, John, do you think we shouldn't be mad at those players for the performance? And I was like, well, you can be mad if you want. I'm not going to stop you being mad. You're right to your own opinion. The vast majority of Bournemouth fans are furious right now, and I don't blame them at all. But right now, there you go. Steve's there. I know Kirk is. So you've just got to deal with that now. My emotions are pretty similar, but I'm just going to have to I'm just trying to think about what goes forward from now on, because it's now it's done. There's no more football this season. We need to look ahead, and that's what I'm hoping that the club are going to do now.
John, thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much. And also, Eddie, thank you so much for coming on today. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. All the best.
Cheers, mate. Onwards and upwards, eh? And Kirk and Steve, I'm sure there's going to be some more reaction on your channel. There's going to be like melancholy. Is it going to be negative? How's it going to be? What's the tone? Go on, Kirk, tell me.
I'm not really prepared for it yet. Maybe we need to cool down a bit. We will drop something on there. We have to, because when lose or draw, we'll provide something for the channel. But
don't involve me.
No, maybe not. But I think this was our shot. We probably didn't deserve it overall. We would have taken it if we'd have gone up. But I think this was our shot. I think it's going to be a big pre-season. I think we are going to lose certain players. I'm not sure the training ground's going to be made. But if there is a positive at this stage, there's no VAR again for us next season. That's good. We get 8 more games for our season ticket. That's good for me. Steve, I don't know.
I just don't know how you're even finding anything positive at the moment.
No. Well, cheers for coming on, guys. Really appreciate it. And we'll catch up soon. Well, in about 24 hours at football, eh?
Yeah.
A chance to get that frustration on the pitch and score a few goals like last week. Cheers, mate. Thanks very much. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Right, so next we'll bring in Daniel. We'll bring in some youth by the way of Daniel from Florida. We've also got Dylan here as well. And also Robert from Latvia is here with us. Daniel, not good. I'm going to go and grab a beer. So Tiggs is going to take over the line of questioning for a bit. But Daniel, how are you feeling, buddy?
I don't know. It's just kind of, I feel like I got a big test and I failed it. It's just awful. I can't even be happy. And I don't even think it's Mepham's fault. It is his fault. He got the red card. But it was either Brentford score 4 goals or 3 goals. And 3, Mepham gets sent off. 4, we have all of our team. Because we were going to lose it anyways. We weren't ready. And we're going to be in the championship with our under-21 squad. And hopefully we can make it to mid-table. Because I feel like we could go down. That's how I feel right now.
It is tough to take, Daniel. Dylan, would you agree with that? Do you think we're looking at a situation now where we're going to have to lose some players?
Get Mepham out of the club. He can go back to Brentford and, have fun when Brentford bottle the final again. See you later. Bye-bye. Can't be dealing with you. Absolutely awful player. Second time he's done it. All season, I've bigged up Mepham. Bigged him up to every single Bournemouth fan who's gone, not so keen on Mepham. I've always been the one, including today, to go, yeah, you know what, be absolutely fine. He performed well on Monday, and then look what he did. Simple passing, gave it away. I mean, I don't think it's a red. Personally, if I have a look at it, I mean, yeah, it was last man standing, but to me, in my eyes, he just pulled on his sock and the player went down like he'd been shot. So I completely just don't agree with it. I mean, Pearson was probably our best player. I mean, Lerma, I don't feel like he was amazing. Pearson, half fit, probably the best midfielder on the pitch. Nobody else did anything. Oh, I'm so angry, man. Begovic, best keeper all season, probably one of the best keepers in the Championship. Most nervous I've ever seen him. I could go on all day, honestly.
Yeah, it was unusual performances from some of our players. Definitely, Begovic definitely stuck out for me. Robert, what do you think?
It was awful. It wasn't really great. I was actually, when we scored, I was like, oh yes, oh my God, is the final, finally, red card, and it all just break down. It was actually awful, really. But like, it was gonna happen. Let's be real. If like if we got a red card and it's actually Brentford, they will score. Last time they got a red card, they scored. No, they won the game. So like, I don't know. I don't really think we should really blame like the manager, because I saw a lot of people on Instagram or Twitter. They were like saying, "Oh my God, sack him!" Yeah, but I don't really think so. Like, he actually helped us this season. We were like 8th or 7th. He joined and we just became like a really, really good club. So I don't really think we should sack him. But of course, players will leave. That's 100%.
Dylan, how you doing, buddy?
Stressed, mate. Stressed. Completely, sometimes completely and utterly done with this football club. I mean, going into a semi-final and you can't even make a 5-yard pass. I mean, a lot of people diss Rico. And then as soon as he made that goal line clearance, I was like, they're on the attack. Maybe something's going to go well for us. And then Begovic just falls apart when you need him. I mean, all season, you look at him and you think, he's been absolutely amazing. And the one game he needed to stay with it, you just fall apart.
It was such a performance that was unlike him. I mean, what he was doing when he was picking the ball out of the back of the net after the penalty, I just looked at him thinking, have you lost your head? And, you know, like you say, like, of all the matches to do that, Tiggs, it was just really bizarre to see one of the coolest customers on the pitch being so juvenile almost.
Yeah, I mean, he got given the captaincy for the game as well. So he was wearing the armband, and that was the reaction to it. I don't know. Maybe he felt that he had to do more. Maybe in a goalkeeper position that can be difficult to have an effect upon the game. So he decided to affect it that way. He did get Tony a yellow card. Yeah. Which felt maybe that was some kind of master plan that didn't quite reach fruition. But it was really tricky. Daniel, do you think you're going to be able to pick yourself up after this and feel better and be ready for next season? Because I can see right now, you're not feeling great.
I woke up early for no reason, so I'm probably just going to go back to bed. Hope tomorrow can be a better day.
Mate, well, you've said it all. Daniel, thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate it's short, but we've got people waiting and queuing up. So thanks very much, mate. And up the Cherries. Sorry, it's been an interesting season for Back of the Net, hasn't it, Tony, in terms of the fact that this whole sort of community has been built, and we all wanted it to build to a crescendo. And we created a series called The Final 10, and the 10th show was going to be a playoff special. Unfortunately, it's going to be some kind of post-mortem now, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpick, and people have already sort of touched on it already. Where do we go next season? What are we looking at next season? Interesting. But the thing that's kind of striking to me is Woodgate the man for next season? So already people trying to put their opinions across on that. So I'm sure, Sam, we'll hear from more people about whether they think that's going to be the way to go. I guess the football club have probably got maybe a week to make that decision. Otherwise, it might feel a bit weird on whether we're going to go forward with that team that we've got already.
God, interesting. Dylan, any closing thoughts? Give us some kind of nugget of positivity to take us into next season. Go on, anything. Hit us with it.
I don't think it was a penalty. I don't think the penalty given wasn't a penalty.
Right, yeah.
I do think when you sided in like that, you can't do a lot with your arms. Even the commentators said, what's he meant to do with his arms? And I feel like the refereeing was very inconsistent. So we got that penalty given against us, and then we went to ball into their box. Their player jumped above us, and then it hit his arm, and nothing was given. And I'm like, so you're going to give them a penalty, but not us when they've done the same thing? It's just... I suppose positives, hoping we can keep Arnie. I mean, if he wants to go, I'll salute that man off. Fair enough. I mean, it's the one player. You can go, mate, and hold your head high. You've helped us. See you later. Have fun, and I hope you do good in whatever you're going to do. Everybody else can stay. Don't deserve to leave.
Well said. I mean, some of us might be wanting them to leave, but well said, Dylan. Thanks very much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Up the Cherries, and Robert, thanks for coming on throughout the season. You've been there. At first, you were faceless, and then your face appeared from nowhere.
Yes.
We loved having you on. Thank you so much this season,
Yeah.
mate. And we're going to be chatting some more over the next few weeks, I'm certain.
Yeah, of course. Up the Cherries.
Up the Cherries. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much for coming on. Right then, Neil Whedon standing by. We've also got David Cordell with us as well. Here's Neil Whedon. All right, Neil.
Hello, Sam. Mr. Tiggs. How are you doing?
Yeah.
How you doing?
You got,
I've been absolutely furious all afternoon. In fact, most of the season I've been bloody furious.
Yeah.
Because we had such a talented bunch of players. Yet, for some reason, they're deciding not to play. And I don't get it. I really don't. Whether it's the mentality, whether it's the coaching, I don't know. But it seems as though we've got, we've seen that set of players tear apart so many teams in short bursts. But for so often, we're falling over, we're moaning, we're whinging at the ref, we're trying to get other players sent off, we're pretending we've been shot, and it's. I don't get it. If they just concentrated on playing football, how many times this season have we? I can tell you how many times I've said it, but all of us have said, "Why don't we shoot?" We don't have any attempts on goal. Yet, we've got all this talent, and it's just for me, it's really sad that we haven't used it.
Yeah, agreed. David in Washington. Hello, buddy. How you doing?
Could be better. That first goal, I was like, yeah.
Oh, mate, yeah.
85 more minutes. I think there's a couple of things that I'd say. One is to the people who are like really thinking it's the end of the world. I saw Bournemouth play in the 4th division. I saw relegation. I saw us almost go out of the league. This is not the end of the world, right? We're still in the Championship. And we can rebuild. But I think the decisions we make now are going to be critical. My personal opinion is I think we made a huge mistake letting Eddie walk. And I know there's a lot of argument about whether he wanted to walk or whether he was pushed. I think that's going to come back to bite us. I think a lot of the people will leave. I think Danjuma will leave. I think Lerma will leave. I think Brooks will leave. I think Richard Hughes will go to Celtic with Eddie. Which means we have to decide what do we want to do as a club, right? Where do we want to be and what do we want? So I think next season, honestly, we're looking to maybe just survive, but we need to build the players up. And as others have said, get good players from the divisions 1 and 2. But I think the critical thing is whoever's going to take over from Richard Hughes and whoever's going to take over as manager. I don't think it should be Woodgate. I just don't think he's the right fit for what we want to do. And I don't know who it is. The other thing I'd say is I wish someone had shot the ball at Thomas Frank's face because I'm so fed up of seeing that hand go up in the air. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's like, what an asshole. Sorry. Anyway, the other good news is at least we don't have to see us lose at Wembley, and I hope Brentford bottle it next week. So,
fair play.
Other than that, this is going to be the critical. Whatever the board decides is going to be critical for the next 4 or 5 years, right? So they have to decide what do they want to do, and where do they want to go. And hopefully we'll get good money for Danjuma and Brooks and Lerma. Although who knows what's going to happen after post-COVID, because I don't know if teams actually have that much money. And then we need to invest it wisely. And I hope it doesn't go, the temptation for Max is he might want to get his money out. That's the concern.
Yeah, good point there. What do you think, Neil? I mean, do you think we'll get some money to spend next season, or do you think we're going to be on a bit of a shoestring like we were this season? I mean, we didn't really sign Pearson in January. Is it a case of kind of holding on to some players until that kind of time, December, January, and hoping that we do well, or is it a whole rebuild? Do you think there will be any money?
Well, we're going to have to tighten our belts, aren't we? I'm pretty sure about that. So, yeah, if we can hang on to a core of players, we're definitely going to lose some, aren't we? I can't see Dan Juma wanting to stay for another season. But we've got some youngsters who haven't really had a huge opportunity. And we've seen, like Kilkenny, for example. I remember seeing him the end of the of last season, and he looked like a fabulous player. Maybe he hasn't, in all in terms, trained on, but there comes a point at which we're going to have no money. Yeah. Those parachute payments are going to go pretty quick, aren't they? And we've got to plan for the future.
Yeah. No, agreed. Well, we'll see what other people have got to say about that. Neil, thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, buddy. Really appreciate it. And also, David Cordell in Washington, thanks for your support this season, mate.
See you next season.
See you next season. Come rain or shine. We'll be there. We'll be there. Thanks so much for the support, by the way. You've got one from James saying, hi, Sam, Tiggs, and all involved in the channel. A huge thank you for the work you've put in. Having somewhere to go made the season much more enjoyable. And also, unbelievable super chat. Wow. Paul Horry, thank you so much. By the way, Paul, I've sent off your mug this morning from the post office. Second class with Tim Pot here. So I reckon that's like Tuesday, and we've packed them as well as we possibly bloody can. But you've put in so much time and effort with with us, by watching, by commenting, by putting on the super chat. So we really appreciate it. You said devastated, but in all honesty, we didn't deserve it. Hopefully next season will bring big changes. Appreciate your super chats, and every super chat that we get guarantees your message appears on screen. But also what that does is help to support the channel as well and produce these little bad boys.
Yeah.
They are beautiful, aren't they? Absolutely beautiful as well. Right, we're going to have some youth in the stream, by the way, of Vin, who is here, audio only. Vin, long time no here. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How about you?
Yeah, mate, not too bad so far. Also, we'll bring in Morgan Scott, who's here. We're gonna fill it up. Morgan Scott, Morgan, you all right, buddy?
As good as can be.
Putting a brave face on it, got to say. Filippo's here as well. Oh, you're not putting a brave face on it, Filippo.
Filippo. Oh, buddy, I thought I'd get a smile, but no.
No smiles today, guys, because it hits me harder.
Yeah, and it hits Aaron hard as well. So we've got 5 of us in here. Aaron K's here as well. Vin, who's on audio only, mate. Go on then, talk to me, buddy. What do you think of that?
I'm just devastated and disgusted with the performance today by all the players. Every single player put zero effort, in my opinion, today. I feel Dan Juma was the only one that really tried, but even him in the second half kind of faded out into the game. I think we need a new manager. I don't think Woodgate's the right man for the job at all. When we brought him in, I thought it was just another one of those Eddie Howe. After that, who can we go for? Tyndall, Woodgate. None of these managers know what it means to be a managed Bournemouth, and none of them know how to manage their club properly. If we can't even, we're 1-0 up in the first leg, and we go and lose 3-1 with no effort given at all.
You could be right there, because I mean, I'm not saying Woodgate is wrong or right for the job, but at the end of the day, Tiggs, when Brentford went down to 10-0 at our place,
yeah,
they took the second half by the scruff of the neck, and they outplayed us with less men. We didn't do that, and we were pumping the ball forward, like isolated balls forward into no man's land. They took Solanke off, who's the only player capable of holding it up.
Yeah, and
then the second half performance, I thought was absolutely, absolutely abject for a team that needed to score to win the game. We were atrocious.
I think the words you said during the game, Sam, was 6s and 7s. I mean, we really did look a little bit lost out there, didn't we, for quite a few periods of the game. I'd be quite interested, Aaron, to know what you saw of that game, what you thought, what's your opinions?
It was such a weird afternoon. It started, we couldn't have asked for a better start. That early goal, 2-0 up in the tie and all going crazy. And the penalty was harsh. I can see why it was given. I don't think VAR would have even overturned it. His arms were up. So I've got so much to say. I don't even know where to start. Chris Mepham, the game turned on it. People, I've seen, some people rightly or wrongly have been criticising formations and Woodgate and subs and this and that. The game turned on that 100%, and he's done it time and again, and he never learns. And it's so, I don't want to pick on one person because it's really cruel, but it's criminal because he was looking left and right to play that dodgy ball across the goal again, and he didn't even have, he just didn't know what he was doing. Pass it back to Begovic or kick it out. The guy has lost his place in the team for a reason because he's been doing that all season. He gets his place back in the team, he does it again, it costs us. I don't actually blame him for bringing the guy down because it's a split-second decision. You can't think in that moment, oh, if I don't bring him down, I stay on the pitch. You don't think like that. So that for me, that wasn't. It was the wrong thing, but it wasn't the thing I'm annoyed with him about. I'm annoyed with him about he looks left, he looks right. He's like, oh, and he's lost the ball, and he's sitting there with a sad look on his face, and he's cost the season. Now, got that out of my chest. It was mentioned already. I think Sam, you mentioned it. Begovic. I mean, what was going on with some of our players today? I mean, there is shithousery and there's shithousery. I don't mind slowing the game down, but it was so deliberate. Yeah. Begovic lost his head. He's the captain of the team. Yeah. He got a yellow card, which means he was pushing the referee's patience. He could easily have got a second yellow card for time wasting about 50 times. You're 25 minutes into the game, you're time wasting and being petulant. And I think that unsettled our own defence, personally. I think he helped no end whatsoever. He was going down and jumping onto the floor with no one near him, and I don't know what he was doing, but it unsettled everybody. Lloyd Kelly again proved to me he's a better left back than he's a centre back. He was bullied, which is not surprising because of Tony's physique against him. We were saying before the substitution, it's going to be Brooks or Billing. It has to be either Brooks or Billing, simple as that. And I was watching with a few friends, and we were split down the middle. I wanted Brooks to stay on because he was flying and he looked so creative and he looked like he was the one to make it happen. But their argument was Billing kept the three in midfield more. He might last the game longer. He can help out in centre midfield a bit more. Unfortunately, we didn't want to lose either of them, and we might not have won with 11 men, but we were the better team with 11 men, and I'm convinced we would have done. And the substitution at the end was very strange, long coming on. I don't quite saw that give us. If you're going to make a change and go for it, you bring on Surridge, who you can go a bit more direct to, and might have scored a header at the end. You bring on Riquelme, who actually against tired legs might have done something. He might not have done, but with 8 minutes to go, you've got nothing to lose. Or Wilshere even, but long. It's just that for me was the weirdest thing. And I'm not. Maybe I'm in the minority here. I'm not coming out of this slamming Woodgate because I think if Jonathan Woodgate had been here all season, we would have got promoted. And I think he fulfilled his remit. He got us into the playoffs, but for a red card from a player he clearly doesn't trust, quite rightly, we might have got there. It's simply bizarre, but I think when you've got 10 men for so long, it's very difficult to know which way to go. Certainly don't sit back. But we were isolating players. I don't know. There's too much to talk about.
Is it all our own fault?
In one game,
do you think, Aaron?
We are where we are.
Do you think it's all our own fault, Aaron?
Today,
or do we need to give credit to Brentford and the way that they came at us? Because it felt to me that they did have a plan all the way through. At different stages in that game, their manager put across what he wanted. Whereas it felt to me a little bit when we went down to 10, what was the plan? Firstly,
Brentford's manager annoyed me the whole game. He's an odious-looking little thing, isn't he? And I just wanted to, and I really did, whatever. I don't know who he thinks he looks like. He's not as cool as Gareth Ainsworth, and he's not. I don't know who he thinks. Anyway, and I'm not sure why he was advertising for whatever watch he was wearing throughout the game. I'm not sure he kept wanting the cameras to see that. I'm not sure.
Apple Watch, yeah.
Was pathetic.
But one thing that was clear today was the crowd were their 12th man today. And I'm not sure ours was on Tuesday. I have to be honest, I wasn't there Tuesday. I'm not dissing anyone who went, but we were not on the referee's back. We could have been far more vociferous on Tuesday, and we weren't. And I said that at the time. I actually thought it was quite quiet watching on TV. I know people who were there said it wasn't, but today felt intimidating. And having said that, we should not have allowed ourselves to be intimidated by 4,000 Brentford fans. And we played against 60,000 hanging on for a point at Old Trafford and at Anfield and at Stamford Bridge. So that's not an excuse, but they definitely used that. And the referee might have played to it a bit. It's very difficult not to. I can see Morgan's screaming to come in, so I'll let him have a say for now.
Yeah, go for it. Before we do that, by the way, thanks for the super chat to Paul. Every cloud has a silver lining. Yeah, no VAR. And also for the super chat earlier, Paul, Thank you very much. I'm sure Morgan's got something to say, and Tiggs, he always has.
I'm sure he has. And Morgan, you were there at Dean Court, is that correct? And of course, Brentford had twice as many fans as us today. Do you think that made a big difference, like Aaron was saying?
Tiggs, I'm sorry to upset you, but I wasn't there. I had to watch.
Oh, I just saw you put your hand up. I thought that's what it meant. Beg your pardon. You just
No,
wanted to chat.
I was pointing to my watch. Maybe we should add on another 6 minutes, according to Thomas Trenk. I think he's going to need a new watch for Wembley. I'll pay. But I think I think what has to happen is we have to take some responsibility for the game today. I think, firstly, how that's ever a penalty. Are you meant to do? Maybe you should just have no arms in football these days and tie them behind your back. Because how that can be a penalty, it's beyond me. As Aaron said, I don't think VAR probably would have overturned it. The second thing, I don't know, the substitution kind of did it. I don't understand the Brooks substitution whatsoever. If you're going to take anyone off in that minute of the game, you're taking off Billon because Brooks was actually having a good game against the right back on the other side of the pitch. And Solanke in the second half, although he's very good at holding back, and he did that early shot saved by their goalkeeper Raya, bring on Sam Surridge. He will run a channel. He will do something different, because it just got to the point where it was literally getting brought into our half and then lumped up the pitch. It was like a game of pinball at one point in the second half.
Yeah, you know what? All very good points. Felipe, come on, mate. Then you're usually the light of my life after a match, but you look devastated, mate. Talk to me.
Yeah, everybody's devastated, and also me, because I was confident coming to this game, and also even more when they made that enormous mistake, leaving open space for Danjuma, and after our goal. I was more confident, but then the penalty, which maybe is not a penalty, and that got our players even more nervous that they weren't before the game, and they completely lost the head because they made lots of faults, and also Begovic. Why on earth did he go to Ivan Toney taking the ball? It doesn't make sense, and then the red card. That it's difficult for everyone. Second half was completely suffering. I was completely suffering, and second and third goal were coming. I hoped for extra time, but the goals were coming.
Yeah.
What do you think, Filippo? Do you think we were just unlucky, or do you think you can say it was this person or this person? Can we put blame anywhere, or do you think it's just that's the way it went today?
I think as I said, I think that the whole team was upset because they knew that they were some steps away from Wembley, and it's normal. Maybe it's normal that you get nervous in this kind of game.
Yeah. Well, what are we going to do, Felipe? We're going to switch.
I don't know for the next season now, because don't know how many players gonna stay, how many players gonna go. It's gonna be a tough summer for AFC Bournemouth.
It's going to be a tough summer. We're going to switch up. Says people waiting. Felipe, thank you for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, guys. Final thoughts of the season. When I first joined after the win against Nottingham Forest back in November, I was searching for people to talk about the Cherries, because in Italy there aren't many people to talk about it. So I found you, and I can say that you are my Cherries family. So a massive thank you to everybody, to the Back of the Net family, for having me this season.
Really appreciate it.
And up the Cherries in all departments.
Up the Cherries. Thank you very much. And Aaron as well, thank you for coming on. Hopefully you calmed down a little bit and onwards and upwards for next season, eh?
Yeah, and to reiterate, Philippe, the highlight of my season is this been this podcast, and let's hope we can all meet in person next season and go back to games like a normal season and forget this season ever happened.
Let's go to places like Luton. Let's go to places like Brentford. Even we don't know. They're not been promoted yet. Aaron, thanks very much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers. And also Morgan, some closing comments from you before we switch up, because we've got Connor, Jackson, Dan, PK, James Reed. We've got Bees TV as well. We'll have a Brentford fan on, probably ecstatic. Keefe T's here as well, Reese, and also Koa from Vietnam. But Morgan, some closing comments, mate.
God, I'm speechless. No,
that's fine.
Just to wrap the season up, I think it's always going to be a difficult with Eddie going. It was always going to be a hard season to go back to the Premier League at the first time of asking. I think this it's an emotional day in the terms of we don't now know where our club in terms of our manager. Maybe a lot of our players will probably be on their ways, but AFC Bournemouth are always a very good community team, and let's just anything is possible, and hopefully our chance will try again. So, but thank Sam and the team for this season on here, and up the Cherries, and see you next season when we go back to matches, hopefully.
Yeah, cheers, Morgan. Thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. And you know what? I think we haven't been looking at the chat a lot.
No.
But you can imagine what club has been constantly on our chat.
I can imagine what club. A lot of local men is pleased, I imagine.
Loads of their local men are pleased. And look, we'll get as many chats on as we can, but you can guarantee your chat comes on screen with a super chat. Now, we've got Bees TV here, and you know what? Hello, buddy. How are you?
How are you guys doing? How are you feeling after that?
Oh, mate. Well, firstly, congratulations, mate. And it feels from our perspective like the winner of this match has got 1 foot in the Premier League already.
Yeah,
do you get that, Tiggs?
Oh yeah, I really do. And credit you guys where you finished the season 10 points ahead.
Yeah.
And we always felt that if we could get past you, the next game will probably be an easier one. I'm no disrespect to anyone, Barnsley or Swansea fans who are listening, but we didn't really want to play you over 2 legs. That wasn't the plan. The Stoke game kind of made it that way. That was maybe a misstep, I feel.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm really glad you're here actually, because obviously, without meaning to make myself feel a little bit better here, you've had previously fallen at the last hurdle. I hope you don't this time. I genuinely say that because I think you deserve it. But how do we as Bournemouth fans now look forward and kind of pick ourselves up? Because you've been here before. Yes. What's the next step?
Yes, I mean, you said that we've got 1 foot in the Premier League door already, and that is not true at all. We saw from last season, we went out to Fulham at the very end in the playoff finals, and it's all a lottery. The playoffs are a lottery. So what we did, coming back from the loss in the playoffs, it was get back to next season, get rebuilding again, and go again. Back the manager. We backed Frank. A lot of our fans wanted to see Frank gone, that he wasn't capable of bringing a team to the Premier League. We don't know, but for us, it was backing our manager, backing our team, backing our players, and making sure everyone stays positive to ensure that we can get up and get into the promised land. And I hope that's what you guys do.
So, 5 minutes in, or however many it was, when Dan Juma, your corner, I don't know, but you seem to have everyone forward, and then Dan Juma seemed to have the length of the pitch. I was saying to Tiggs at the time, it reminded me of Fernando Torres for Chelsea against Barcelona a number of seasons ago, where he just ran the length of the pitch and slotted it in. At that point in time, are you thinking, oh, here we go again, or not?
No, not at all. Because I said from the minute one of the game, when you could hear the fans, you just knew it was our game. Even though Dan Juma, it was brilliant from the corner, and it wasn't great on us. You could just tell from the atmosphere of the crowd. You could tell from the passion of the players that we could bring it back. Usually, the reason why we did concede that goal is because usually we have Rico Henry our left back, he's a brilliant player. He's going to play in the Premier League next year. If it's with Brentford or with another team, he will play in the Premier League. Usually we have him. So he when opposition teams go on a break after that, he's usually the one to sweep it up. We had Christian Norgard. That was his job, but he got injured in the warm-up. So obviously we didn't have a discussion who would be sitting back. And that's where it went wrong.
Yeah. So look, who are you wanting to face? If you're going to face someone, who are you wanting to face? Swansea, you know what? I didn't expect them to be taking a 1-0 lead back to their place, but they did. Would you rather have them or Barnsley, or do you not really care at this point in time?
I mean, Swansea, they have the individual quality. But I mean, personally, I'd like to see Barnsley so I can get my mates round, because I've got a load of Barnsley mates that I can get around my house, so we can have a good fight then. I would personally take Barnsley, but I think any team, it doesn't really matter. We just have to make sure that we're on the job. And if we play an 8 out of 10 game, we will do a good job.
Brilliant stuff. Brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on. And where can people check out your content for your post-match reaction, buddy?
Search up Beast TV on YouTube and you'll get it there. We had a brilliant day today with, I had my mate John on, so it was ecstatic scenes. Have a look if you like. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah. Cheers, mate. Yeah, and you know what? I've got to say, if they're a team that I want to get promoted, it's Brentford. Is that the same for you, mate?
Yeah, I mean, knocking at the door, they deserve it. Yeah, I agree with you, Sam.
Fair play, mate. Yeah, check out BCV. Thanks for coming on, buddy. Cheers. Thank you so much. We got Keefe T on the way. We got Paul Kenwood here. Firstly, Nikki is here. We're going to bring her in now. Nikki, how you doing?
Oh, what a day.
What a day. What a day. We've had our head in our hands. We've been jumping up and down. We've done everything. But ultimately, Cherries fell at the final hurdle, Nikki.
I know. And it started off so well, didn't it? That when that goal went in, we were celebrating. I was thinking it couldn't have got to a better start. And then we were just clutching at straws. It's okay. It's a draw. We only need another goal. But we never looked like scoring, did we? That second half. I had to keep going outside. It was dreadful.
Why do you think it is, Nikki? What is it? The sending off just that just killed off the game, or do you think that the players maybe weren't all fully there, or do you think Brentford just played so well that they nullified us? What do you think caused us not to get through?
I think the fact. I mean, do you know, there's no one that in the world that's going to be feeling worse than Chris Mepham right now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to single him out because he will be absolutely devastated about what happened. But flipping it, going down to 10 men made it a near on impossible task, didn't it, really?
Yeah, I think it definitely did. Begovic was unusual, Nikki, in this game. Not his usual self at all. Very kind of I know they do say that about goalkeepers, don't they? They're a little bit erratic, but not the antics we expected.
He was like a crazy man. What was he doing?
He changed his
We
name.
kept laughing, but he was like a man possessed. I don't really understand. I think maybe it got to him. I don't know. But he was certainly entertaining, and I've never seen him behave like that before. Weird.
No, right. And I said to Tiggs during the match, it reminded me of Joe Hart in the World Cup or the Euros or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I think it was the Iceland match where they beat us 2-1. And or was it a penalty? I can't remember. I think it might have been 2-1. And Joe Hart was so pumped for the match. And during the game, he just kept flapping, he making stupid mistakes. And he just wasn't himself today. So another season in the Championship then, Nikki, how are you feeling about that?
Well, yeah, it's a double-edged sword, really. Delighted because we're going to get to go to loads of games. But I really worry about our team. Who are we going to be watching play next season? I don't know. I think there's going to be a mass clear out in the summer. And I'm really worried. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I don't think Woody is going to be here in the next season. I don't think he's the man to take us forwards. But I'm really worried about what team we're actually going to have going forwards.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to find out. Thank you so much for coming on, Nikki. Really appreciate it. And up the cherries, of course.
Up the cherries.
Up the cherries. Thanks very much, Nikki. Really, really appreciate it. Right, Paul Kenwood is here.
Hello.
Paul.
Hi.
How are you, mate? Tiggs.
Yeah, I'm good.
PK.
I'm good, considering.
I was thinking of you today, Paul, because I think it was 10 years ago, you and I were watching a playoff semi-final second leg against Huddersfield, and a player got sent off centre half, and we lost that game. And as soon as Mepham got sent off, I thought of that game against Huddersfield. Did it bring back memories for you?
That game was so typically Bournemouth today. If there was any kind of little way that we could screw it up, we would do it, and we did it spectacularly today. I'm actually not that bothered about it anymore. I was at the time during the game, but now it's finished. I'm thinking no VAR. You're not going to have any prima donna players. They're all going to get sold off or sold. Actually, new manager. It's quite exciting times. I think actually it's going to be better for us going forward to rebuild, use the youth, and actually get rid of some of these players who just don't seem to work well as a team. They were great individual players, but as a team, they were crap.
Does it surprise you, Tiggs, PK, about the amount of Watford fans that seem to have us in their brain? I mean, I always thought that they were the bigger club, but apparently the Watford officially have tweeted it. You've got the Watford podcast that are tweeting about it. You've got Local Man is Pleased. We get in their heads that much, even more than their supposed rivals, Luton Town. It's a bizarre manufactured rivalry that only goes one way. But you must be one of many fans who are getting lots of feedback from Watford supporters this afternoon, Paul.
Yes, Jeff. Yeah, I'm getting loads of really, really, really bad feedback. But I don't mind, really, to be honest. If they feel the need to take their post-season break and chat to us, then that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I'm surprised there aren't more Southampton fans doing the same, to be honest, because they don't care about us.
Yeah, good point.
What happens next, Paul? Do we have to spend money next, or do we carry on with just the youngsters and, like you say, just build on the youth? What do you think Max will do? Will he delve into his pockets?
I think Max will try and maximise his profits from the players that we do have at the moment. So Dan Juma will be gone, and Brooks and Kelly. I think there'll be a mass exodus. Beggs will be gone. Genuinely can't think of that many players who will still be here next season. There'll obviously be some who are under contract that we really, not on great contracts maybe, that we want to keep. But most of the others, they all want to go. They all want Premier League football. They thought this season was a stepping stone. It's not. Now they'll be onto their agents as soon as possible and saying, let's get us out of here. So I don't think Max will spend any money. I genuinely don't think he'll spend any money. There's no money to spend. I mean, as we saw from the accounts, we've got to sell all the players to get enough money just to break even. So it's going to be a season next season where if we get mid-table, I'd be happy. If we, edging towards the playoffs, fantastic. If we avoid relegation, even better. But that's the season we've got to prepare ourselves for now, I think, because we're not going to have the brilliant individual players. We're not going to have, the Brookses and the Dan Jumas to score the goals, and we might keep hold of Solanke potentially, because I'm not sure anybody's going to want him from the Premier League. But on his own, Surridge is a great player. He's just not been given a chance.
Yeah, you know what? I feel as though we need to bring a bit of energy to proceedings. Not that you're lifeless, Paul. Okay, can I just say that, because I'm going to bring in Marky Masters. We got AFCB John, who's with us as well. But before we speak to AFCB John, Marky Masters is in the house, and when Marky Masters is in the house, he smiles, and everyone feels a bit more upbeat. And you look as though you're putting on a smile, Marky.
Boys, it's my daughter's birthday today. Remember I said the other day I had a lovely night in Cardiff. Oh, yeah. So it's my daughter's 8th birthday.
Yeah, did you go down to the beach?
Yeah. No, so we decided to do it at home in the summer house. Boys, this has been excruciating. Had an argument with my wife.
Oh, no.
I was dipping in and out of the toilet. Chicken nuggets are kind of doing the rounds. So I'm I could say, guys, what's going on? What have I missed out on? But I can't say stuff because everything that Paul's been talking about, what I've been picking up in the threads. Here is my observation. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, give it to us.
Even Watford fans, crumbs. This is my take. But here's the thing, everybody, because this is a dark place we are all in, everyone. And this is the thing I've discovered this season, more than ever so, is that social media and places are very dark, spiteful places, right? I can remember many years ago, and we played Wrexham to try to get into the playoffs when we were in Divi 1. We didn't do it. It was 0-0. It was a dreadful game, but we walked away, right? And then you forgot about the game. I'm just going to say to everybody, Paul, everyone out, you guys listening, don't go on Twitter tonight. Don't go on Twitter. Let everyone have their little say and everything else. It is a nasty place, but the positive side is, and it's probably been said, is well done, Sam, and everyone that's been a part of this. Well done, you boys, for doing this week in, week out. And this is our little home to come to that we can have a moan. We can say, all right, they'll all bugger off next season. But you know what? At least we'll all still be here to moan and everything else. So these little places of solace that brings us to have a moan and to feel happy when things are going good. Boys, it's worth its weight in gold. And I just want to say thank you so much for this season. We obviously won't be doing it again this season, but really appreciate. And I've met lots of good people that have been a part of this season. So that's a really positive thing to take from that. There we go. That's positive vibes, isn't it? You've done an amazing job.
I remember when it was
brought
just
a smile to my face.
I remember it was just me, Tony, Tony, and Sam stood in the rain outside with Lucy holding the camera. It's come a long way. It's come a long way in the last sort of year and a half, if not 2 years.
And this is good because I've never had this in my, same with you, Paul and John. I've never had this in my lifetime. Because
this has become therapy now. Like I feel like I'm attending a therapy session. Like
John, sit tight. John, sit tight, my friend. It's all right.
I'm still processing it, honestly. Yeah.
I'm not going to moan. Listen, I'm not going to moan, boys, because there's been unity created with back of the net and everything that goes on, and it's an absolute joy to listen when there's a lot of rubbish out there. So this is good, and I hope everyone's enjoyed it this season as well by having this place on YouTube and everything else to comment and have a moan, and we're all right.
Good man.
Thanks, Mark. That was a lovely injection of enthusiasm and positivity. I think now it'd be nice to go back to some normal negativity now. you brought me too far, Mark. I didn't like it. I don't know what to do when I'm up this side. To come back down. John, how are you doing? You're looking fantastic as always. Did you watch the game?
Oh, cheers, man. Oh, thanks, Tiggs. Yes, unfortunately. I'm still processing, like I say, all of that. I don't know. It just collapsed after Danjuma scored. Like I thought, how Brentford were playing in the last it seemed like a lifetime watching them just batter us, and I was thinking that should have been us after we scored. There didn't seem to be cohesion. I think you can pick out individual players like Rico. He was playing excellently. Smithy, Carter Vickers. I think the usual kind of suspects really were putting the shift in, but it seemed like the same old. We struggled at the front. We struggled to get the ball to Solanke, to Danjuma. I thought we made some strange substitutions as well.
Yeah.
With Stacey on for Solanke, I thought that was odd. And I think Morgan alluded to it earlier, talking about Brooks, saying Brooks was actually kind of getting in the game, and then Then Rico came on and had a good game. I think obviously Woodgate had to then sort of allocate, obviously for the red, didn't you, on Meps? And, I mean that's another whole thing in itself with Mepham there. But to be fair, and I did Twitter about it, I said that kind of the fact that he put himself out there, it stopped them scoring, so it was dirty. But it could have been 4-1. So
I thought he was playing well up until that point, personally.
You thought we were doing well?
I thought Mepham played pretty well actually up until that incident. I thought he'd done well.
Yeah, just I think it's awful as well, the hate that he's already getting online. I've seen terrible abusive language, and I think some of it's even from our fans. And if you're going to do that, like, it just shows how cowardly you are to hide behind your screen and keyboard and effing and blinding and stuff. Like, these are human beings just like us. And yes, it's a huge occasion, but take that out of it. He's a human as well, and to be receiving such hate, bashful comments, and he'll feel that just like we would if we received some hate in our lives. And I think it's totally uncalled for and disgusting.
You know what? I dread to have a look at Twitter, because you know what? People are so quick to praise when we're high, and then when we're not, it's vitriolic. And you know what? I dread to see it. I've seen a few of them already.
Pleased has come out. The picture of Lerma with the crying tears emoji. Watford, they're quick to get in on it as well, and it's also petty, really.
It's just an emotive response rather than a measured, thoughtful one, isn't it? I think a lot of those people who say those things, they wake up tomorrow morning and they probably wouldn't. But because we have this at our fingertips, like Mark talked about, these things will come out, these things will happen. How are we doing for time, Sam? We got much luck there.
Yeah, we'll switch it up. Marky, it sounds like you've got all sorts going down. It sounded like your building was collapsing a minute ago. You've got children in the background going crazy. It sounds like an 8th birthday party to remember.
Thank you for the upbeat way of looking at it. No, it's awful. It's dreadful. I've shouted at my wife. We've had a bit of an argument together. It's not getting any better this afternoon. But listen, it hurts for all of us, but we'll all be back, everybody, and we'll do it all again. We'll dust ourselves down, we'll pick ourselves up. Listen, the younger listeners and everything else, that's what football's all about. It's horrible, it hurts, but you know what? When it's good, it's amazing. And when it's low, do you know what? We'll all be back next season. I hope you guys are as well.
Good man. Marky Masters, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Cheers, Can I just say as well, actually, to think of something good, like I'm sure it's probably been touched on, but I feel like had we gone up with this team, and we've seen them all season, and we say, we got the players on paper, and we talk about having the best squad on paper in the league, but now we can safely say, look, they're never going to play for us, this team. They proved that today. It was the biggest moment today. And I feel like had we gone up and somehow got through past Brentford, we still would have really struggled with this team in the Premier League. So now we can bring through the players like Jadon Anthony, Kilkenny, even look at Sadie, Curran Brown, these are under 21 players as well. And I think that's quite exciting, actually, to kind of think, well, what can they bring for us? They'll be aspiring to further their careers, and I feel like we've had a lot of has-beens, and whereas now we could potentially, like say, rebuild. And I've got my badges ready, you guys. So let's go again. I don't need to get another shirt. So let's have another go.
Yeah, brilliant. AFCB John, thanks very much. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, hope you all stay well in these times still, and I hope you can all recover and just be happy, everyone. Yeah, cool.
Top man, nice to see the Watford people on chat. First thing you think of, it's almost like we're in your head. PK, see you outside the Vitality next season in the piss and rain, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I've renewed the season ticket, so I'll be there. So hopefully they can get a full capacity crowd going again in September or August when we kick off, and up the Cherries.
Is that a Christmas jumper, by the way?
It is, yeah. Happy holidays, yeah.
Happy holidays. We'll end in style. PK, thanks very much for coming on. Appreciate it. Jackson's here as well. Sorry, mate. We've kept you waiting for so long. How are you, buddy?
No worries. I've watched probably 45 of these podcasts after all the matches. So I'm just glad to come on once before the season ends.
Amazing. We've also got Keefy T, who's here as well. Keefy T in the house. All right, buddy.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad, fellas. I've had worse days than this. So.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. We got Marcus here as well. Marcus, how you doing, buddy? You all right?
Doing good. Actually not good. I just pounded vodka into my coffees and now whiskey in the coffee. So I'm good.
That's what we like to hear.
what's your policy on per fandom? That trying to do a reskin or Reese just drops the fucking F-bombs every turn?
No, yeah, absolutely, no problem with that at all. I mean, Keefy T had a field day a couple of months ago with profanities,
Derby.
but Derby.
Yeah, an epic rant, but you won't get that. You won't get that today.
And on audio only, we've got Ollie here as well. Ollie, how you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. You lot?
Yeah, doing okay, mate. Doing okay. We'll come to you shortly, Ollie. Jackson, mate. Talk us through how you feeling.
Yeah, a little bit tired. Waking up at 7:30 in the morning for that one. But I love doing it. It's been a fun season, and I'm just kind of disappointed that it kind of has to end. Gonna have a little bit of footy withdrawal, I think, over the summer. Fortunately, we have Euros at least to look forward to. But I'm just kind of disappointed that we've seen some of our good players play their last game probably in a Bournemouth kit. I'm just hoping that next season we are just able to stay up. There's all the teams like Derby finished in 6th last year and barely escaped relegation this season. So, and I know they were also in some financial troubles, and we are as well. So I just want to make sure that the club stays viable and stays competitive in the future. So that's really all I'm worried about. But this has been a good kind of like what John said, this has been a good therapy session. I definitely feel a little bit better than I did an hour ago. So
yeah, it's really interesting, Jackson, you mentioned that, because the championship next season looks even more of a, I don't want to put a downer on things, but the teams coming down, the teams coming up, bigger teams, it looks like it's going to be quite a slog. Keith, I know you'll be well aware of it, Keith, as the sexiest man in Milford, what's going to go happen in the championship next season. How do you think Bournemouth will get on next season?
Well, they're going to have to do some thinking now. It's knee-jerk reaction stuff today, and we are raw, but it will take... I think we might have escaped a bullet, because if we went up, we would have had to scale up, and we're already have financial issues. Yes, the television revenue, the money you get from being in the Premier League is great, but you also have to pay the players additional money to play in the Premier League. This gives us an opportunity to, in a relatively stable league, the opportunity to renew the squad, because it definitely needs a clear out. Whether we get the optimum value is another thing, but to say who should be the manager next, I think we've just got to recover. I think we're going to see people go anyway, up to Celtic with Eddie, so there'll be a lot of things going on before we've even decided on Woody's contract, so let's see what happens.
Marcus, it's been a day for us here. What's your day been like? You told me that you're already cracking into the alcohol cabinet there. How are you feeling?
Not great. Oh shit, the fucking doorbell just rang. Hey Junebug. Hey dog. Oh shit. Anyway, it's supposed to start at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I turned 35 yesterday. Today.
Happy birthday! Whee!
God damn. Anyway, thanks. But yeah, I think what I really wanted to say was firstly, thanks to Back to the Net for doing this every match week. I appreciate it. I'm sure a lot of other people do. And I think it's just frustrating because of the fact that the first leg could have gotten another goal to a cross, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in our hands, wasn't it?
Give me a sec. Hold on.
Hey, Marcus, do you want us to come back to you in a second? Do you want to go answer the door?
Yeah, I'll do that, by the way.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, no problem. We'll come back in a sec, bud.
Yeah, no worries. In the meantime, what we'll do is we'll bring in Cohen from Vietnam, who's here very briefly in the pitch black. What time is it in Vietnam, Koa?
Okay, it's also 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
Wow.
Explain how you're feeling now.
So bad.
Yeah. I mean,
for the first time, I see for the live match in TV. But unfortunately, it's a loss. Very bad.
Unfortunately, it was. Mate, one thing we should have asked for from you was a selfie with with Back of the Net on screen. But unfortunately, we weren't doing a watch along this time. But we're glad we weren't doing a watch along but we have recorded our reactions, haven't we, Tiggs? And you know what? I've never seen a goal reaction like it after the first few minutes when Dan Juma opened the scoring. And from then, I thought we could go on and score some more, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, it was completely surprising to both of us, wasn't it? That we managed to get that goal. It felt like the ball was very much in Brentford's court. They had a corner and it broke out to us, and we felt that going forward that would be the story of the game. How wrong could we have been, Sam? Disappointing. But it's really nice to hear so many people from all around the world. That's the wonderful thing about Back of the Net. It brings people together from all around the world to talk about it. So it's really lovely to hear from you, Koa. How are you feeling about next season? Do you think Bournemouth will do better next season?
I think for the big escape from some players is Danjuma, Philip Billing, or I think Asmi Begovic, or so on.
I agree. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it, Koa. Amazing to have you on the channel again, and hope to have your support again next season, buddy.
Yeah.
Up the Cherries.
Up the Cherries, mate.
Up the Cherries. We are global with Jeremy from North Carolina, who's going to be joining us here very shortly as well. But I understand you've got to go, Jackson. So before we switch it up, just some closing thoughts from you. It's going to be an exciting sort of next few months. Exciting, maybe in a bad way, but there's certainly going to be lots of activity, isn't there?
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a lot of anticipation. I mean, I'm waiting for us to get the announcement that backroom staff is heading up to Scotland with Eddie. So I'm sure that's one of the first things that we'll hear about. But I mean, I'm excited for next season. I think we kind of all just need to calm down and kind of realize that we'll play football again in a few months. I just am really looking forward to seeing fans in the stadium again. I know the vitality can get rocking when it's packed, but 2,000 fans is not nearly enough. So I'm just excited to return to normalcy and to kind of see what you all do next season as well. I'm really excited. It's not been ideal, I think, today, but I mean, I reacted. I probably woke up my parents when I yelled at that first goal. And honestly, up until the red card, I thought that's kind of what they were gonna keep throwing men forward, and we were gonna counterattack and nab a couple of goals. But that's not how it worked out. And it's a game of margins. If we don't drop 11 points to bottom sides this season, we go up automatically. So or finish in third at least. So it's a game of margins, and hopefully next year we get the right margins.
Hope so. Jackson, appreciate you coming on. Really appreciate it, buddy.
Appreciate it so much.
Well done, fella.
Before we go on, Tiggs, I've just been directed to it from social media, like Morgan's just said here. Really feel for Mepham, because I remember when some fans abused him earlier in the season. I've just seen a quick screenshot of some of the comments, mate. It's absolutely disgusting.
It's appalling. They're not Cherries fans at all, are they? They're just hangers on. Hopefully, with us staying down, the plastic can flow away, because we want genuine Cherries fans. And Mepham made the mistake today. I've seen a lot worse, and I've seen a lot more cynical, but no, disgraceful. And it is not a day or the next couple of days to be on social media with the armchair managers out there who think they could do a better job. Well, off you go. Come and show us.
You know what? Chris Mepham has spoken to the club via AFCB TV, spoken to the fans to show you, and Steve Cook has, I think, now Dan Juma did, Philip Billing, about how much it affects them. But these so-called Bournemouth fans are, some of the language that I've seen in just one screenshot, I dread to see any others. It's absolutely appalling. AFC Bournemouth have created a social media policy, and we'll be working with them. And we even know the identity of some of these people that are doing it, right? So we'll happily pass on all this information, no problem at all, no holds barred. We'll just, because we don't want those people, sending those kind of messages. I think it's absolutely disgusting. So, if you're doing it, you're going to get punished. You're going to get punished. Right, Marcus and Jeremy are going to finish things out, but Ollie's still here. Ollie, are you all right, buddy?
Yeah.
He's still here. Good man. Mate, next season, what the hell's going to happen from here?
I don't know. I'll be happy if we make it mid-table. I think there might be a change of manager. The board might decide that, well, let's spend a little bit, but as already said, we are in some financial problems. I'm a pro Woodgate person myself. I think he's done really well for us. His mission statement was to get us to the playoffs. I think he can take us even further next season. But it's whether the board decides that he's the right man for it.
Very well said. And that's a question that I'm sure we're going to be posing on future shows. Ollie, thanks very much for coming on and up the Cherries. Cheers for your support this season,
No problems. Up the Cherries.
Cheers,
Well done,
buddy.
Ollie. Well done,
Cheers,
mate.
mate. And Woodgate, I'm going to spin it around, Keith. In fact, I'll bring in Jeremy. We'll bring in Marcus whenever he's back at his computer. Jeremy, how are you, mate?
Good morning, or for you guys, good afternoon. I'm all right.
Afternoon, Jeremy.
Hey, Keith, good to see you, man. I'm a little disappointed, just like everyone. One thing I think people aren't mentioning, whether it's the Metham mix-up or blunder, and then later in the second half, Jefferson Lerma had the ball midfield, and he had a guy barreling down on him from behind. And do their teammates talk to them at all? Or are they telling them, heads up, someone's right on your tail, someone's coming behind you?
If to be honest, I think what Brentford did today was just got in our heads. We were, after that first goal, it felt like we were being sucked into a lot of things, a lot of niggly fouls being given away, Begovic losing his cool. I've never seen that happen with him before. And they seemed to get in our heads, and they were quite unrelenting as well. They didn't go out there to get a draw. They went out there to win. And I think they've been doing it all week, that they were never bothered about losing that first leg. They always saw it on the second leg. They always fancied it over two legs. And it came right for them today. Their game plan was to do what they did today. As I say, Lerms lost his head a little bit. Beggars, Mepham, he made a horrible mistake, but it's a mistake. And then after that, they just strangled us, and that's the way Thomas Frank plays. They just had the edge over us psychologically, I think.
Yeah, and that's how Bournemouth of old played. Just attack, and we seem to just fall into this. Drives me crazy, bunkering down and just tentative and scared, and you can just see it in the momentum. You literally, not literally, but almost literally can see the momentum. It's just panicky, and then they get the tying goal, and you just see us we just clam up, and that's what I wish we could see. But that game that Bournemouth used to play, that went away a couple of years ago, even under Eddie. He got away from that. So not criticizing Eddie, but we can't, he was wonderful, but he did allow things to go south when it comes to tactics and strategy and how we play the game. So,
would you agree with that, Marcus? Do you feel like the game kind of, the enthusiasm, almost the positivity kind of drained out as it went on?
Yeah, it did. Honestly, like I said before, I had to chase our dog down before just being a fucking idiot. Love our dog. Anywho, but yeah, I think the first leg, Solanke had a chance, and just driving bearing down on the Brentford goal and just fucking brick the pass, and that could have been 2-0, and in this playoff would have meant the world. We was still been playing, if any chance we had in the first leg, we actually capitalized on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's football. That's what you learn in football, and that's what we've got to learn. Is that it is fine margins. He could have made a different decision on the day. Any one of them could have, would have, should have. But it's where we are now that counts. And did we not put pressure on ourselves right at the beginning of the season and say we had to go up the season? Yep. I think that statement could be, if we look back on it, could be the catalyst of a mindset that has taken us down this path. The desperation to go up, because we all know the financial implications. And we have done what every other big team has done, relied on a quote Premier League squad, which got us relegated to get back up. And maybe we should have said, let's spend this season starting to rebuild. Now we're a season behind and a parachute behind. It's going to be difficult, but it's forced upon us now. And we could all be Keir Starmer and Captain Hindsight, but it's what we do going forward.
What do you think now that Max is, because Max gave us a statement the end of last season.
Agreed.
He was committed to AFC Bournemouth getting back to where they belong in the Premier League, although many of us still unfortunately do see us as a League One club. I'm just interested in the people who are here now with us, Sam. Where do they think Max will? What will Max say now? What will the owner of this football club say? Will he say, I'm still committed to this? Or will he say something different? Will he say that we need time? What do you think, Jeremy? I'll start with you.
I think he's got so much invested now. I think Keith mentioned and others have mentioned he's got to get something out of the players that are not going to be here next year. So that's how he's going to recoup some of his investment, right? That he's got to do that. And I know people are going to be frustrated. There's probably going to be a few players we don't expect that will leave, and he'll get something out of them. Before I go, I wanted to say something regarding the penalty that was given. I know I agree with most when they say, what are you supposed to do with your arms in that situation? However, if you notice, the deflection was off of his arm, and that ball was going to be crossed in front of the I'm not sure who clicked on there. I've got feedback.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all good.
I think that I don't necessarily blame the guy, the corner ref there, for saying, that was a handball, because it did keep the ball from going in front of goal. Now, would he have scored? Who knows? But he might have. So if I was a Brentford fan, I would have been yelling for a penalty there as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we're going to be dissecting it even more so over the next few days. Jeremy, thanks very much for coming on. Really appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, man. Good to see you guys. Take care.
Yeah.
Cheers,
thanks
Jeremy.
very much. Was that your doorbell, Marcus, or there's something going on your end?
It was. I'll be right back.
Right, mate. He's gone. Marcus, thanks very much for coming on. Really appreciate it. And Keithy T, cheers, buddy.
Cheers, fellas. As I say, we've had a lot worse. So we'll dissect it over the next week or so.
We will do. And then there were two. So, Tiggs, talk to me just for a couple of minutes before we finish up. How are you feeling, and how do we get over this?
This helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, genuinely, because you hear a raft of different opinions, you can put them together, you can sort of work them out in your head, come out with your own thoughts on things. For me, I think really, you look at where Brentford finished the league.
Yeah.
Do they deserve to get promoted?
Yeah.
If they do, they probably do. They
big time.
Us. Our season kind of fell off in the middle. But next season, that's probably where my focus goes straight away. I'm sure it's the same for you, Sam. And whether we're going to have enough players to be able to put up a real fight for championship promotion. I don't know. I guess we'll find out in a couple of days.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think a lot of us thought that it was a sort of one season only thing. What Max is going to do, we don't know. We'd love to see the board come out with something and say, whatever they're planning. But we know that with players who've hit form at the right time, Dan Juma, for example, David Brooks had a great game today and he's been all right for a few games. You're thinking he'll be able to recoup now a fair bit of what he's owed. And so is it a case of him just wanting to walk away, or is he going to go again? And that's the question that a lot of AFC Bournemouth fans have got on their lips. And that's one thing that we'll be discussing, I'm sure, in the next few shows. Thank you to everyone that supported us, not only on this show, but also this season. It's been a whirlwind, Tiggs, hasn't it?
It has, Sam. And just as a closing comment, just to let you know, Sam, unfortunately, Tom Jordan and I are leaving for Celtic with Eddie Howe. So we're going to have to think of a new team for next season. I'm really sorry, guys.
No worries. Thanks for tuning in today. Really appreciate it. Up the cherries, and we'll see you in the next one.
Up the cherries.